start with a slightly mysterious, intriguing tone. All right, settle in for a story that still gives me chills. This happened to my grandmother, back when she was just a girl living in this old, sprawling farmhouse. The heart of this house was the grand oak front door. It was massive, heavy, and had this intricate wrought iron lock. And to go with it, there was only one key. Not a copy, not a spare hidden under a rock. Just one. This key was a work of art itself. Heavy, ornate, with a beautiful, almost skeletal design. My great-grandfather, a bit of a stickler for routine, had a special hook for it right beside the door. Every single night, without fail, the last person in would lock the door and hang the key on its hook. Every morning it was the first thing you'd see. It was a constant, a certainty in their lives. One Tuesday morning, the routine shattered. My great-grandfather went to get the key to unlock the door for the milkman, and it was gone. The hook was empty. Now, this wasn't just an inconvenience. It was impossible. He had locked the door himself the night before. He remembered the solid clunk of the bolt, the familiar feel of hanging the cold brass key on its hook. The whole family was home. No one had gone out. No windows were broken, no other doors were ajar. They were all locked in. Panic started to bubble up. They searched everywhere. They checked under the rug, in the pockets of every coat hanging in the hall, inside the umbrella stand. My grandmother, just a kid, was crawling on her hands and knees, peering into every dark corner. Nothing. The key had simply vanished from inside a locked house. They spent the entire morning in a state of confused lockdown. My great-grandfather, a practical man, was getting more and more frustrated, convinced someone was playing a prank. But looking at the scared faces of his wife and kids, he knew that wasn't it. The atmosphere in the house grew heavy, tense. The silence was only broken by the occasional hopeful call of "found it," followed by a disappointed sigh. They were about to start trying to break a window when my grandmother, who had been quietly staring at the front door for a good 10 minutes, said something. "Papa," she whispered. "What's that?" She was pointing to the lock, the big iron lock on the door. My great-grandfather squinted, leaned in close, and then his face went pale. Sticking out of the keyhole on the inside of the door was the very tip of the key. It had been inserted into the lock, and then broken off. The ornate, heavy head of the key was gone. Just the long, slender shaft was jammed deep inside the mechanism, completely flush with the iron plate. The silence that followed was different. It wasn't confused anymore. It was fearful. How could a key hanging on a hook 6 inches away break itself and jam its own shaft into the lock it belonged to? It made no sense. There was no logical explanation. No one had touched it. No one could have. It was as if the key had decided on its own to lock them in for good, sacrificing itself in the process. They eventually had to call a locksmith who had to climb in through a second-story window. He took one look at the door and just shook his head. He had to dismantle the entire lock mechanism just to get the door open. He pulled out the broken piece of the key and handed it to my great-grandfather. The break was clean, sharp, as if it had been snapped by an immense unseen force. They never found the other part of the key. The big, ornate brass head was gone forever. They searched the house from top to bottom for weeks, but it was like it had evaporated into thin air. My grandmother told me that after that day the house felt different. The front door got a new, modern lock, but no one ever felt truly secure again. It was a constant, chilling reminder that sometimes the most ordinary objects have secrets and the most impossible things and can happen. The vanishing key wasn't just lost. It was an event, a warning from a house that didn't want to be left.